Hello, today I'm going to tell you a short story about how I played the Stardew Valley. Yeah, I know the game is not exactly new anymore, it's actually 9 years old, and there is already a ton of content about it in the internet. But I decided to add my small piece to this big community. So my story begins with me creating a character. Well, so we end up with this shaggy hobo guy. Next we need to choose, this is a farm. There's like 8 types of them. The standard farm, obviously, nothing new here, just a farm. Next one is the beach farm. Great for fishing, has more space, but there's another problem. There is sand instead of soil, and sprinklers don't work on the sand. And the next one is the mid-down farm. Not the best for growing crops, but perfect for raising animals. You start on the mid-downs with the 2 chickens. Then, a riverland farm, where a river cuts through your farm, splitting it into a bunch of islands, making fishing easier than on the standard farm, and you even get a smoker for fish from the start. Forest farm, obviously in a freaking forest, so trees will be on your way, but you will have all the forest stuff and resources right at hand. Hilltop farm, where a mountain river will annoy you, but in return, the farm is rich in ores and useful minerals. And the last option is the wilderness farm, which is huge, but at night you will get disturbed by monsters. Probably you noticed that I didn't show you the last farm. This is the co-op farm. We don't need that one today. So I already created the name for our farm. It's the name of my city when I was born and spent all my childhood. Now we can start the game. The story kicks off with our dying grandpa hanging us in an envelope as he's breathing his last, and he's saying, "And to my special grandson, I want you go off on an unforgettable adventure. One day you will burn out from modern life, and when that happens, you'll be ready for my gift." Then our character is sitting in the office. Some unknown amount of time passes. He opens the drawer, finally takes out and the envelope, and realizing he is ready now. He reads the letter. You can pause the video if you want to read it in detail. And the hero heads off to Ternopil farm, the one his grandpa left him. Then we head off to the Stardew Valley when our farm is located. At the bus stop, we are greeted by Robin, the local carpenter, sent by Mayor Lewis to meet us and show us around the new farm. At home, the mayor was already waiting for us, not just say he was getting everything ready for my arrival. We chatted a bit about this rundown house. After that, the mayor asked me to introduce myself to the local residents. They love newcomers and will treat me kindly. Also, he almost forgot to mention, not surprising considering his age, that I can throw anything I want to sell into the box near the house and he'll pick it up for sale overnight. After the dialogue, the character went to sleep to rest after the long trip. Day 1. The next day is started with me finding a gift at home. I had some seeds to kickstart the farm. Then I decided to head straight to town to say hi to everyone. The first thing I found was the bus, and I tried to get on it, but of course it was broken. Next, I walked into a town, but it was empty and the store was closed, so I started cleaning up my farm from trash. After some tedious work, I ran out of energy, so I headed back into the town, since the shop opened after 9 am. I went to the clinic, which was somehow empty. I then into the store and I spent nearly all my money on a parsnip seeds. I thought about grabbing some food in the bar with the leftover money, but the prices were too brutal for my wallet, so I'm still hungry. I went back to the store and spent the last of my money on more parsnip seeds. And off I went to meet the locals. Harvey, The local doctor, who for some reason wasn't at work. Vincent, just as some random kid. Jody, thought I feel like it should be Judy. Judith, I don't know, but maybe those are different names. Caroline, maybe Judy's sister since they look pretty similar. Emily, a bartender at the saloon. Maru, a scientist, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Evelyn, an old lady who told me I could call her grandma if I wanted, if I like, something like that. Haley, a very pretty girl who at first glance didn't seem too friendly and even insulted me, saying that if it weren't for these rags I'm wearing, I'll actually look pretty decent. Since I had no energy left, I went back home and went to bed. Day 2. The next morning, I was fully recharged and ready to plant the parsnips. Or parsnips? Fuck, I don't know, sorry. Which I immediately go to work on while reading a letter from some guy named Willie, inviting me to his place on the beach because he had something for me. So, after the tedious planting, I headed down to the beach to meet Willie. In the dialogue, he bragged about making a ton of money selling the fish he caught, so he bought himself a new fishing rod and handed me his old one for my future fishing adventures. Since I still had a lot of energy left, I decided to try the rod right away. As I'm not really sure, this is science or science or what the fuck? I'm confused. I'm really confused. After catching plenty of fish, I sold them to Willie. As I walked them back along to the beach, I found a broken bridge that I need 300 woods to repair. Right there, I meet Elliot. Honestly, looking even more homeless than I did. A long-haired pretty boy, so probably just a hobo. On my way back from the beach, I ran into Sebastian, the local emo kid, and not very typical for their culture to be still alive. And Dimitrios, also a scientist like Maru, and probably her husband, which is kinda sad. Further up, there was a small bridge and a rock blockage being cleared by a small dude. I noted that spot to come back to once he is done. Near the blockage, there was a tent where Linus lived, with a big beard and clothes made of the leaves. Now this dude is definitely a hobo, unlike Elliot. Also, Linus' tent was actually pretty big. I got a recipe for a field snack and a recipe for our wild seeds. On the third day of my life at the Ternopil farm, it was raining, so thankfully I didn't have to water all the crops again. I immediately checked the blockage, where the little guy was still working. Since there wasn't much to do at the beginning of the day, I started cleaning out the farm again, and when I broke another rock, a geode fell out, which I could take to the blacksmith to open. After clearing the land, I ran out of energy again, but this time I had a bit of more money, so I bought a coffee for 300 gold. Turns out, it barely gives you any energy, but your character runs faster. I found a place where I could upgrade my farm, like expanding the house, building a co-op, or buying building materials. Guess what I did next? That's right, I went to sleep again. Morning routine. And finally, I go to the blacksmith. From the geode, I got 3 pieces of the copper, and for that, I still had to pay 25 gold. My next goal was to build a relationship with Haley, so I went to give her a flower. The little dude was still working on cleaning the blockage. Since there wasn't much else to do, guess what I did? Right, I went to go to sleep again.
Day 5. As soon I stepped out of the house, the blacksmith cleaned, at least I think it was him, the one we went to with the geode, was waiting for me at the door. After a short dialogue, he gave me the blueprint of furnace, so I could smelt ores into bars and then use those bars to make stuff and upgrade my tools. I checked the mailbox, which had an ad for a new backpack at Pierre's shop, but I didn't have money for that. Again, a work of farmer, and another letter from Joja Mart, the place where my character used to work before. After morning chores, I headed into town again, where I accepted a quest from the bullet bird to catch one envoy for a penny, for which I would get 90 gold. So I ran to grab my fishing rod, but as I entered town, a cutscene started. In it, I woke up to this almost falling apart building, with the mayor standing next to it. He told me that it used to be a community center, and I honestly didn't get what he meant. Like maybe it was a club or something. He told me that Georgia Corp had been insisting he sell the land, but something was stopping him and he was nostalgic for the old days when the club was running. Inside was a wrecked, rotten building and a small hut that, according to Louis, was probably a playhouse for kids. During the conversation, something like a living apple materialized in the air behind him and disappeared just as quickly as it appeared. A moment later, it appeared again, but on the other side of the building. The mayor just assumed I was hallucinating or losing my mind, and he said that if I had the time and opportunity, I could help restore this center. After the dialogue, I ran back inside and found a weird plaque on the floor in one of the rooms written in a language I didn't know. I decided to leave the apple creatures and the weird plaque for later. Then I went to give Haley another flower, but this time without wearing my clothes, since she didn't like them last time, and I thought it would be fun idea to show up without them. But after I gave her a flower, she didn't talk to me anymore and ignoring. I have like zero ideas why. I went to the pier to complete the quest. I saw the extra fish I caught and went to give the envoy to Penny. On the way, I picked up another daffodil and out of curiosity went into a house I hadn't visited yet. There lived Alex, his grandma, and a pretty grumpy, understandably why, a grandpa named George. Honestly, George didn't look very alive to me. After this, I gave Penny the fish and went back to the world of dreams again. On the sixth day, finally, all the parsnips were ready to harvest, so I started collecting them and threw them in the shipping box to sell. Also, I got another letter, this time from M. Rasmodius, a wizard, magician. I don't believe in that crap, but in the letter he wrote that he could help me with the living apple problem, and that he needed to me visit him, probably to pay him too. After thinking about this shit, I headed to the bulletin board when I found a calendar that said tomorrow was the mayor's birthday, so I needed to find a gift for him. I figured a daffodil would be a good idea considering my current financial situation. While exploring town again, I went to a building I hadn't visited yet, which turned out to be a museum and library, something like that, where an archaeologist named Gunther was sitting. The museum used to have artifacts, but the previous curator vanished along with the whole collection, so now they had nothing to show people. After that sad news, I went back to Pierre's store to buy tulip seeds so I could give Haley proper flowers instead of random ones I found in the forest. After chopping down trees to clear the land, I finally gathered the 300 woods to need to repair the beach at the beach. Which beach, yo? Sorry. On the new era, there were strange natural pools and a lot of sea creatures and plants, shells, clams, seaweed, and coral. It was getting late, so I returned home, eager for a new day and new adventures waiting for me in the future. I put everything in the chest and went to sleep, earning about the same amount as usual the day. But an unexpected problem happened. I accidentally deleted the save file from day 7, so I don't have anything to show you for the day. But there something might interest you. How I went from this to this. It's vintage story. I started building the story of my kingdom in this abandoned forgotten lands. It's mesmerizing game on the Holdverse server. Soon you will get the first part of the beautiful story about my kingdom, and if you want to join me to the create history together, hop into the Discord using the link in the description or in the pinned comment where you will find out how to join to the server. Even if you don't have the game, join to the Discord anyway, you won't regret it. To be honest, now base look like that. I tried to rebuild it because it looked like a small house from dirt. Yeah. Well, go to the link, join in, and let's play together. Goodbye. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and everything you forgot about during the video. Yeah.